Hi everyone, I'm back with another AITA post from Reddit that I wanted to share with you guys. This time, it involves a mother-in-law and a pregnant woman. So let's get to it. AITA for telling my mother-in-law she won't be seeing my baby. It's already an interesting topic. AITA for telling my mother-in-law she won't be seeing my baby after throwing a baby shower for herself. That is delusional. My husband and I are expecting our first child. We moved to be closer to his family. I'm no contact with mine. My mother-in-law has been referring to the baby as her baby this entire time. She will say things like, I can't wait for my baby to be born. My baby is going to be so loved. This rubbed me the wrong way for reasons I cannot explain, but my husband tells me to ignore her. Red flag number 1. Mother-in-law wanted to throw me a baby shower and invite her friends. She says they made an agreement a long time ago that they would celebrate each other's kids' weddings and births. My husband and I eloped and declined a reception for her friends since we don't know them. My mother-in-law told me that I owed it to her to let her throw the baby shower since I hurt her friends' feelings by having a wedding reception. Who cares? I asked if I can invite my friends and she said no, that this was her friends and that if my friends wanted to throw me a shower, they could. I reluctantly agreed. My husband and I spent hours on our registry and my mother-in-law asked it so she could share with her friends. She says she forwarded the registry on. She asked me what design I wanted on my cake and cookies. I told her flowers because I am decorating the nursery in a garden theme. At the shower, they provided me with a mother-to-be sash and my mother-in-law a granny-to-be sash to wear. I noticed that the theme of the shower was circus animals. The cake had an elephant and balloons on it, and the cookies were animals. At first, I thought maybe the floral theme was too difficult, so I rolled with it until it was time to open presents. Every present was sort of circus animal. Onesies, blankets, toys, nothing on my registry. I was a little confused and even went so far to check my registry to make sure I hadn't goofed up and changed everything. I thank everyone for their gifts and try to sound as gracious as possible, but I was so confused. I would be too. My husband, who is a little less tactful than I am, showed up at the end of the shower and noticed the theme right away. He goes, "What's up with all the circus animals?" He looks at the present and says, "This isn't what we asked for." Then he looked at his mom and goes, "Mom, what did you do?" She smiled and said, "I didn't like the theme you chose for my baby. I'm going to decorate my baby's nursery at my house with circus animals. So I created a registry for myself." My husband says, "You did what?" She said, "My baby is going to need a room at my house, so I threw a shower for myself." Wow. Just wow. I lost my composure and told her that she would not see my baby and to stop calling the baby hers. My husband told his mom that she's delusional if she thinks we're going to allow this. She started crying and said we are just withholding her baby from her. Wow. Red flag number, I don't know how many at this point. We've been getting texts from his family since the shower, calling us selfish and ungrateful and saying we ruined her joy of being a grandma. Are we the a-hole? Wow. Initially, when I saw this post, I was like, what? Doesn't really what? Doesn't make sense. The OP is the pregnant woman. So what? I was so confused. So as I was reading the story, I was like, OMG. This mother-in-law has lost it. She is delusional. Hello, she already went through the childhood and pregnancy thing already with her son. And now, the OP's baby is her baby? Come on, let's be real, dude. She's just a narcissistic, delusional lady. It's all about me, 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 me again. Oh, I hate these type of people. I mean, come on. Okay, I get that you might be excited to be a grandma. Hey, Who wouldn't be, right? Well, usually, you know. But to say that the OP's baby is her baby, that's cuckoo. Cuckoo loocos. Like, you're not carrying the baby. You're not going to be taking care of this baby. And in what world does it make sense for you to throw your own baby shower when you're not the pregnant person? Come on. That's just so narcissistic. And so, oh my God, it just makes my blood boil as I was reading this. I don't know how you guys feel. Would you guys feel the same way? Would you be so heated? You know? Like, would you... But you know what I'm happy to say is that at least the OP's husband spoke up and stand up on behalf of OP. Good for him. Good for him to stand up against his mom. You know? I know that some partners it goes two ways. They either stand up to their parents and be like, nah, don't disrespect my partner. Or we have the other opposite side of say, oh, that's how my mom is. She's just so excited. And just like poo-poo away the partner's concerns. I'm glad that this OP's husband does not poo-poo. Well, he did initially. But he soon realized that was a mistake to poo-poo his partner's, concerns. And I'm glad that he sees what his mom was doing. And that he stood up and said something, And I understand where OP's coming from. She doesn't want to, sound ungrateful for the baby shower and stuff. Totally get it. And, she did the right thing. She just be gracious and went through a baby shower, even though it wasn't the theme that she initially wanted. She rolled with the punches. Good for her. Good for her. So, with the OP, she actually gives 2 updates. So, let's get into it. Update number 1. The next day. Thank you all for your feedback. Just a little more info now that I'm awake and can communicate better. I have text messages where mother-in-law and I converse about the shower, what I wanted, me sending her my registry, etc. She was all, this is going to be wonderful. You're going to love it. My friends are so excited for you. I can't wait to see what everyone gets you. Call me naive, but I did not think that she had ill intent for this. For those asking why I reluctantly agreed to attend a party with her friends, I could tell how much it meant for her to carry on this tradition with her friends. But I was hesitant because I had never met them. My husband and I had declined the wedding reception she wanted to throw for the same reason. I didn't know them and he hadn't seen them in over 20 years. We had eloped, so we had no intention of throwing a reception of any kind. We didn't even have a bridal shower other than one that my coworkers threw as a surprise. But I could see how much it meant for her to host a shower, and that's part of me that wishes I had this kind of tradition in my life. I also felt guilty when she said her friends' feelings were hurt, that they couldn't celebrate our marriage. Who cares, by the way? I spoke with my husband last night before we went to bed and told him I felt like we need to say something to extended family sooner rather than later. I said I understand he wants to respond logically and not emotionally, but I also feel like us not saying anything looks like we have something to hide. He agreed and said that he will send a well-worded response letter to them. He wants to think of how to word it before sending anything. I can respect that. He wants to make the situation better, not worse. As I said in my original post, he's a little tactless, and he knows it. He wants to make sure he keeps what he says neutral and to the point. He's also not sure what to say to his mom at this point. He said once he sees how the family reacts to the whole story, then he'll be able to make a better judgment on how to approach her. There has been zero discussion with her about setting up a room for her house for the baby. I asked my husband last night, has she mentioned anything to him about it, and he said no. Other than she suggested we added a pack and play on our registry so we can have a portable crib. That makes sense. He said he was shocked as I was to find out that she had intended on setting a full-fledged nursery at her house and he had no idea she was throwing a shower for herself. I asked why he didn't take me seriously when I said her Calling the baby her baby made me uncomfortable, and he said that he thought it was just a generational thing. I asked why he didn't ask her to stop, and he said he wished he had and feels bad for not taking me more seriously. Good for you, OP husband, for apologizing. He said he knows I have trauma from years of abuse at my mother's hand and thought maybe I was reacting to that. But now he sees that it goes beyond that. He also knows that due to my past experience, I tend to blame myself for things and don't stand up for myself even though I should. I grew up believing everything that went wrong was my fault. Years of therapy had helped, but I still find myself with that mindset in some situation. I'm a bit of a people pleaser, trying to keep the peace, so he wishes he had stood up sooner rather than disregarding what made me uncomfortable. He repeated his mother is notorious for making things about herself, but that he had no clue she would go to this extent. We agreed that if she had been honest with her intent, then we would have been okay with it. Maybe a little weirded out, but if we were being honest here, but we would have allowed it. What bothered both of us the most is the extent she went to deceive us rather than just having a conversation with us. We had no clue grandparents' showers were a thing either. I didn't know either. We're not certain we would want to go 100% no contact with mother-in-law this time, but we want to keep our distance from her for now. We did agree that she will not be allowed to be alone with the baby for the foreseeable future. The hospital that I'm giving birth in allows infants to stay in the room with the mother, so my husband and I agree that she, the baby, will stay with us as much as possible. We're still up in the air as to whether we're going to allow visitors at the hospital. Some will be determine how I feel after the birth, if I end up needing a C-section, etc. Mother-in-law definitely will not be allowed in the room while I'm delivering. No one but my husband and our medical staff will be allowed. The big thing that we agreed on is that we want our baby to be loved and safe and secure. He knows that I don't have family to fall back on other than my brother, who has said that he would buy a plane ticket and be out here ASAP if I need him, and my friends who have been very supportive and excited to become aunties. We want our baby to have a sense of family that I did not have growing up. The husband's dad and stepmom have been absolutely amazing from the second we announced our pregnancy to them, and I have no doubt the two of them will be loving, doting grandparents. Honestly, I suspect mother-in-law would be a good grandma, but she's going to have to earn mine and my husband's trust again. Wow. So far, yeah, this gives a little bit more idea of what mother-in-law's really into. As I had suspected, she's just a narcissistic, delusional lady. She's just cray. Wow. I mean, like, I just can't believe this woman thinks that it's okay to behave the way she is right now. Anyways, let's go on to the second update. 4 days later, the OP updates. My update was denied, so I'm sharing an update here. So my husband talked to his brother yesterday. My mother-in-law is plotting to take my child, but it's because she thinks I'm going to be like my own mother. Okay. My own mother was physically and emotionally abusive to me and my brother. Mother-in-law told basically everyone that I'm mentally unstable, so she's preparing a room for when, not if, my husband leaves with the baby. The baby shower was a ruse to try to get a rise out of me and show her friends how unstable I am. But my husband ruined it by showing up and being the one to really say something. I mouthed off a bit, but my mother-in-law was hoping to really push me over the edge. I assumed that my baby comment was testing the water as well. I've been in therapy for years, and I've been working on my own fears of being like my mom and with my therapist. We have a weekly standing appointment on Zoom. I've also talked with my OB and psychiatrist about staying on my medication and watching closely for signs of postpartum depression. Good for you for being so active, OP. My husband has been a part of all of these conversations and has sat in therapy with me multiple times. I'm not violent or known to be violent or have known to have violent outbursts. I tend to withdraw and be non-confrontational when I'm upset. I can't say I fault mother-in-law for having concerns, but I wish she had gone about showing it in a completely different manner, such as talking with me and my husband. He has half a mind to go to her house and just rip her a new one, but I told him no, we're not going to fight fire with fire. If she talks with me about her concern, I feel we wouldn't have reached this point. I've been able to share what I went through with her. We've always been able to talk about things. She's seen my arms and legs, which are scarred from physical abuse. She's odd, but never uncivil toward me. I would have told her I shared those concerns and told her what steps I'm taking to prevent them. I haven't told her about having these worries because, ironically enough, I didn't want her to worry. I don't want to keep my daughter from a grandparent who loves her. I just wish things had been handled a little differently. And now, throughout this whole thing, I feel like the OP has approached it the adult way. This mother-in-law is like a child. I mean, she's so devious, trying to the whole thing about the baby shower was trying to to show her friends that like OP is unstable or unfit to be a mother. That is just crazy. That's like you would go to that extent to get the baby and to like make up. Okay, I wouldn't say it's not make up lies because it's not really lies, because the OP does admit that she does have the same concerns, but OP has taken a lot of steps and she is aware of these things. She's trying to take steps to prevent that from happening, and that's very grown up. That's a very adult thing to do. That is, that's the best solution. And I'm so happy that OP's husband is there to support her throughout this whole situation. And honestly, this mother-in-law, they really need to like stay low contact with this mother-in-law. Not no contact, 'cause that's just cruel. That's just, who knows what she would say if you really become no contact. Because the baby's not here yet. So let's see how she really is like once the baby is here. But I think for now, I really suggest that OP and her husband should really go low contact with her, because she does not sound stable. But anyways, I wanted to hear what you guys think of this Reddit story. What would you do if you were in an OP situation? Would you have done the same thing as the OP? Would you react the same way? Would you be like the OP's husband? And what do you think of the mother-in-law? Like, I would love to hear it. Anyways, remember to like and subscribe if you like these type of stories, and I'll see you next time.